Hello, and welcome to my Succession Wizard low skill point guide. So anyways, I'm going to be talking about low skill point builds for Succession Wizard. A lot of people tell you that you need like 1900 or 2000 or 1700 skill points to build Succession Wizard, but that's definitely not the case. I'm going to start with a build that only has 1040 skill points, and then build on that one. So first, I will go over the passives. You want all of the passives. These are quite important, some more than others, but generally they aren't very expensive. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so it's good just to go ahead and learn these. For the utility skills, teleport, maxed out, ultimate teleport, learned, these are both very important. Speed spell is also extremely important, so it's learned all the way. Sage's memory, you need it for succession things, like as a prerequisite, as well as for Rabam, so definitely you need this. Mana absorption, we have a lot of sustain troubles. So, based on what your personal needs are, you may want to rank this up to rank 2 or so, as it lowers the cooldown by 1 second, and then rank 3 is by 2 more seconds, and it returns mana much more quickly. Same with Spellbound Heart, it helps with sustain as it gives mana back 50 at minimum rank and 250 at maximum rank per tick, and it increases your move speed. So rank this up as you need. For Magic Lighthouse, this will become more important for high-end grinding, so don't worry about it if you're just grinding Potato Spot for a skill point. But for high-end, you will definitely want this, so I won't worry about it yet. And for the heals, rank these up as needed depending on your personal situation. I'm not going to go over PvP skills really yet, as I figure if you're barely 1000 skill points, you're probably not doing much PvPs. So yeah, that's the utility skill. And now for the attack skill. I learned my fireball all the way. Actually, I'll just start from the top. This learns itself. I didn't max out magic arrow and do multi-arrow just because I'm assuming that you're not doing a lot of super high-end spots with this build yet, as you're probably grinding spots, to get more skill point. And the multi-arrow becomes a lot nicer at higher end than at lower end. Fireball, I maxed it out because Rabam. You don't need Prime Fireball, as you can still chain normal Fireball into Prime Fireball Explosion. So this comes later. And a lot of times you won't find yourself doing that at all. You'll actually find yourself doing your Rabam into Fireball Explosion. So now, oh yeah, Fireball Explosion. Very important. It does gigantic damage, and you really don't want to be without it for grinding here. Here being anywhere, but on Succession Wizard. Meteor Shower, it's a nice to have, but it's also somewhat expensive. And it's not quite as versatile as a lot of the other skills, so I just decided to go ahead and leave it out for now. For Lightning Chain, for certain spots where you use it for pulling, it's important that it hits more things. This has a maximum of 3 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets, 6, and then the absolute rank has 10. But I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. Lightning Storm, I maxed this out as I need it for Prime Lightning Storm, which is extremely strong. Now, for lightning, I maxed this out because if you don't have Prime Lightning, it's a much slower animation where you spin around. Whereas if you, if you have Prime Lightning, it's an immediate, well, it was on cooldown, so that's why I spun around. But it immediately strikes the ground, and then you can follow up with your Residual Lightning and Lightning Storms. And for the residual lightning, same deal. Max it out. For prime residual lightning, high voltage is definitely the one you want for PvE. It is extremely scary and very high damage and comes out very quickly, and also has a nice large AOE. So this is like the one skill I wouldn't like to be, and actually there are a lot of one skills I wouldn't like to be without, so I won't say that. Frigid Fog, I contemplated leaving this out, but I really don't want to. It's quite amazing. It does surprisingly high damage, it's very fast, and it's a nice AoE, and its cooldown isn't that long. Now for some of the spots where you have a problem with freezing things, you may actually want the Disrupt one instead, because this one, it's a different AoE, it's in front of you instead of around you, but it slows things rather than freezing them, because freezing can become a nuisance. I believe it also has a lower cooldown by 2 seconds. Now, I didn't worry about Blizzard. It's very expensive, and also, it's good for like unscuffing pulls in high-end spots, but you're not going to get that much use out of it generally. With grinding compared to the other skills, the damage per time on target is quite a bit lower than your normal skill sequences. Earthquake, maxed out both because I need it for a Rabban, but also because the Prime Earthquake Destruction is very nice. It's a large AoE, does a lot of damage, hits twice, and is a PvE vacuum. So this is definitely not something you want to be without. Now, Earth's Response, later. We'll worry about it later. Now for Earthquake, you may also want to go with the Evade, as it's nice with movement. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. As it's nice with movement, so I'll just leave that up to you. A lot of that comes down to personal preference or what specific spot you're grinding. Generally, people will take Evade always for PvP, and for PvE, it'll depend. I usually use Destruction because the movement isn't consistent enough with Evade. Now, what's the word? The Awakening Succession thingy skills. Voltaic Pulse, Equilibrium Break are the ones I use high end. However, low end, this one tends to be a lot better as it does more damage, and has a nice gigantic AoE in front of you. I didn't use this one though, as it's kind of slow and gross. Now, you're going to get more and more skill points. Let me act like I'm getting more skill points. I have a lot more than 1,000. I have more like maybe 1,300. I want to be able to heal a bit better. I want more sustain. I'm not going to worry about high end yet. Let's see, what do I want? I'm going to go ahead and get the first rank of this, and here's why. The first rank is nice because, actually, let me show you here. I usually do it after Earth's Response, but so you see how after I do my skill, and I buffer the input by holding S and left mouse button, it just starts to cast the fireball. And it does the long cast animation. However, if you have Prime Fireball, and you hold that, it'll immediately cast, which would let you chain into all sorts of other skills. So that's definitely a nice to have. I won't worry about the ranks though, as the utility is a lot more important than damage. It really doesn't do that much damage. I really like Earth's Response for the positioning. Compare this Earth's Response, which is puny and flaccid, to this Earth's Response, which is gigantic. And also remember, because it's a prime skill, after you position, you can chain other skills off of it, which you could not do with the others. let's see, I'm still not doing high-end. I'm not going to worry about multi-arrow. Let me think. I know what I want to get. I want to get, what's the word? They changed it so I forget where it is. Oh yeah, Meteor. Meteor is very nice. Focus is great for high-end spots as it does a lot of damage in one area. But Aerial is great for lower-end spots as it does this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this. We're almost at 1300. What do I want? I know what I want. I want some more utilities. And I don't like being almost dead, so I want to heal a bit more. So this is my build now. Now, I have closer to maybe 1,000. Oh, actually, I'm going to do my next one for around 1,600 to 1,650, as the soft cap is 1,500 from combat plus whatever you have from quest. And that's when you start earning 1 per tick instead of 3. So that's another really good one to do a build for. So we are going to have a lot more to work with. Lightning Chain, I definitely want that for pulling, since I might start getting into higher end grind spots now. I want to now worry about this. Do I want my Blizzard yet? Nah. But I would like higher ranks of my prime skills. You know what else I want? Maybe one lower rank of my prime skill, but I do want my prime multi-arrow. So I still kept with my around, no, depending. If you have to downrank a couple skills, the ones that you don't rely on for damage, but you do for utility, like the Prime Lightning and the Prime Fireball, are very good to be able to downrank. However, if you have the skill points to use, then just go ahead and high rank them. So yep, now you have your Prime Multi-Arrow, which is great for high-end things, and you still have pretty nice ranks of all these. And so basically, again, the thing with Blizzard is it is quite expensive, and it doesn't do, it's really amazing for PvP things, but for PvE, it's not going to be that amazing. So you can have basically a complete PvE build with all of the important utility and all of the important attack skills, or even more, with around the soft cap of 1,600 to 1,650 skill points. Now when you start getting even more than that, that's when you can worry about things like your magical evasion. So instead of having to do that, where's my prime magical evasion? Oh, it already learned it. Oh yeah, it's just the last rank. You can do the fast double dodging. And then that's also when you can think about getting some PvP skills for a more well-rounded build that's not just for grinding. Your shield's important, protected area, depending on the type of PvP, is important. You want your heals maxed out. This is when you're definitely going to want Blizzard. I think there's something I'm missing. I don't think so, though. So yep, it's about like this. And then, after this, you have some extremely low priority ones like your Absolute Step Attack, your Concentrated Magic Arrow, and Prime Earth Arrow. It's not that they have no use, it's just that their uses are very limited. Your resurrection. So yeah, it's kind of like that. Now, is that it? Wow, I guess that's it. I hope you enjoyed the Halfguide, and I hope you will very much enjoy, I forgot this, I knew I was forgetting something, your low skill point wizard. Well, this isn't low skill point anymore, it's high skill point, but before it was low skill point.